Got to press go live on the. Hey everybody, I'm glad I've been recording this because my sincerest apologies. I just now realized I wasn't live because I forgot with YouTube right now you have to hit go live in the corner before it transmits. So I've been recording this whole thing. I'll have to upload this to YouTube now because I've been sitting here talking about Nextcloud and OwnCloud for the last little bit. I kept thinking, why is no one in the chat room talking? That's why. Nobody's talking because the stream hadn't been started. So my apologies about that. I've already been going at this for about, let's see here. We've been streaming for 36 minutes to YouTube servers, but not to the actual public. Oops. So sorry about that. Anyway, getting back to the open source different things. I already talked about the open source news, and I was talking about the video chat in Nextcloud. Which is pretty cool. And so anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. I was looking at the source here, and actually no, this is the XAMPP client. Well, I don't think this is the same thing. XAMPP can do it can do video, but I don't think that's what it's supposed to be. So, because see, they're calling this up here Talk iOS, Talk Android. Interesting. Let's see. Spread. Nextcloud spread. Is this the video? Because it says chat, video, and audio calls for Nextcloud. I guess this is the actual code base. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Interesting. So let's see. It says it supports Firefox 52 or later. Okay. Supports Chromium/Chrome 49 or later. Edge, it supports the latest versions. Speakers are not promoted. Name changes while in a call is ongoing are not reflected. Safari 12 or later can be used. No screen sharing support available there. Viewing screens of others works though. Okay. Interesting. Pretty interesting here. There's been some scenarios where you might need to use NAT. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Or not NAT, but what is that? Symmetrical NAT, I think that is. So users behind strict firewalls and stuff, they might have to use a turn server. Okay, yeah. Not really a surprise. Very interesting. This is like the main thing for me that I'm interested in Nextcloud for. The file sharing is cool and stuff, but that's kind of like a secondary thing for me. So that's kind of the secondary thing there. Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, that's kind of a secondary thing for me right now is actually doing the file sharing. It would be nice, but it's secondary. Anyway, so yeah, let's see here. What else should I talk about here, open source wise? I already talked about OBS Studio, it's a new release, which I would say if you're tuning in now, just so you know, unstable. It's a little unstable. I find that it's, it's okay, but it's it could be more stable. And so hopefully it will get more stable over time. And I'll probably be putting this out as a podcast episode also for those just tuning in. I'm not sure yet, because this is kind of different from a normal episode. So I'm unclear on what the plan is on that. Like I said, sorry about starting the stream a little behind here. I've been streaming, on time to the server, but I forgot to hit go live in the control panel, which you have to do with YouTube if you're doing an event live stream. And I don't do the event live streams very much, and so I forgot all about pressing the go live button. So, mistakes happen, but because of that, the last 30 minutes has just been recorded. At least I recorded it locally. That's the good news. And so, like I said, I will definitely be uploading that. But anyway, I hope everybody's staying safe with COVID-19 out there in the world right now. This is some serious, situation that we are in right now. And so, my thoughts go out to the families and everybody that's lost someone and everybody that's affected by needing to stay in for this. Social distancing, it's not fun. Businesses are shutting down left and right, and people are losing their jobs, and we're all being stuck inside, and it's not good. It's not good at all, folks. Anyway, but yeah, so trying to think here. What am I going to talk about here? I already talked about everything But now that I've made the mistake of starting the stream like late, because I've been talking for a while now and had a recording going, but I don't know what I was thinking not being live. We could talk about Blender. I was messing around with Blender a little bit lately. I don't think I have any of the files handy though that I've been working on, unfortunately. And my camera's doing this thing where it's shutting itself off, and I just did it again. So bear with me while I restart it. But Blender, I'm going to open it up here. It's pretty cool software, and I must say it's pretty cool. Let me see, Blender right here. Okay, I'm going to open it up. But Blender's pretty cool stuff, okay? You can see it launching right now in my system, and there it is. And Blender's pretty cool, and so if I come in here, let's... I think most of those are remotes that I don't have access to right now. Is any of these... Okay, this is this like old one I did where it's like a table and, it's got like a ball exploding and everything. So interesting stuff. I kind of like to do a piece over 3D. I don't know how interesting that would be to people. That would be on my filmmaking channel, but I've thought about doing that. So if you do think that would be a cool idea, I would really appreciate the support. Let me know that you think this would be like a great idea, because like I said, I'd be totally up for making that little doc, short doc piece about it, because I really think CG is interesting, and bringing to the open source angle of things, CG it's the industry standard to do it on Linux. I mean, we're talking. It's not like some of them do it on Linux. It's the industry standard, everybody, to do CGI, computer generated imagery, whether that be animation, whether that be VFX on Linux. Sure, I'm sure some do it on Windows. A lot of the tools are available on Windows and Mac, but the reality is the spec that is like the main thing in the industry and like the design thing, that's Linux. DreamWorks, they're using Linux, right? Pixar, they're using Linux, right? And so on and so forth. So anyway, pretty cool. I think that Linux can do that. And Blender, by the way, is available on the actual Linux distribution that is commonly used, which is Red Hat Enterprise Linux / CentOS, one of those two. And they've got Blender builds out of this open source software that does CG for that platform now. And I'm really interested in that, because think about this. This means you can use the industry standard OS that's like the expected platform that you're doing 3D on. You can use that, and you can use this awesome open source software, because, I mean, this software is, like, really cool. I can come in here and do all kinds of different things. Unfortunately, because I don't have my mouse on me, it is kind of limiting what I can do. But I could always actually pull up Blender on this Windows system, because I do actually have it on here. I did try the other day installing Blender on Windows just for the heck of it. I don't really have anything, like, fancy in here. I have, like, a test project. Again, I'm more of a I'm more of a Linux user, excuse me. And excluding today, I normally only use Linux, but pretty much. But again, because of the camera and stuff, I had to use this Windows instance. And this Windows instance is purely for experimentation. If I want to try out something in Windows, I normally run Linux all the time. Anyway, let me see here. We got Blender opened up, and I'm going to actually switch to that. Hold on a minute, everybody. I need to add here. All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do a capture. And if we fade over here to the desktop, this is it, everybody. Take a look. This is Blender. It's kind of hard to use Blender without a mouse, which is why that I wanted a mouse. So I think we're gonna just experiment with Blender for a little bit. That's, I think, how we're gonna end the stream. Unless somebody has something to add in the chat, which if you do, like I said, or something that we should talk about, like I said, please do let me know. Definitely would like to know if you got anything to add here, folks. All right, but anyway, so Blender's pretty cool stuff here, and if we take a look at it, let me tell you, folks, this is some powerful software. So I'm still trying to get good at Blender, to be honest, but I'm going to show you like what I know. So, like, for example, you can use S to scale. You can use SX to scale on the x-axis, XZ to scale on the Z axis. Actually, I don't think that did anything. I thought that did. You can use S. Can you do S? And I thought you could do SX. Yeah, you can do X. SY. Okay, you cannot scale on the Y. Are we sure? Or am I just here? Let me. Okay, so let me do SY. Okay, there we go. So now it's letting me scale SX, and there we go. So see, I can go ahead and do this. I can use G to move it around, and you can use Control-Alt-0 to set where your camera is. Then you can use G once you've selected your camera, which I hadn't, to move your camera around. Okay. And also another thing to note too is this is a lamp right here, and the whole purpose of a lamp is lighting. So if I come in here and I render this, and I bring over the render screen, hold on. There we go. And I bring over the render screen. First of all, the camera angle is horrible, but you can see that this is actually lit up. Like if I was to go in here, delete that, and then I was to come back and render again, now take a look. It's just a solid gray background because there's nothing being lit. So if I come in here now, I can go, let's see, light, we'll do an area. I'm going to use G to move it up. All right, and I can use the tilde key to move my position. So this is my top view. Now I can go ahead and move this. And so now I should have now I should actually have, hold on, so now I should actually have this. So I can now render this. Let's try now. It didn't do anything. Hold on. I bet you I don't have the light set at a strong enough strength. That's probably what it is. Let's go take a look. Yeah, 10 watts is nothing. So we're going to set this, let's say this is 1,000 watts. That's going to be pretty beefy light output. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. And so now we got our object again. And I'm going to actually just minimize that. That way I can render back to it. But I'm going to actually, all right, I'm actually going to show how to change the camera angle real quick. See, this is an aerial view now. I can come in here and render the image, and look at that. Isn't that cool? So I've changed my angle. Very easy process to do. And so now I've rendered my angle and everything. And pretty cool stuff. You can do all kinds of different things. So I'll hop out of camera mode here. But you can do some cool things. So like, for example, I keep hitting Control-S to save, even though I'm not going to save this right now. Just out of force habit. So you can come in here and do all kinds of different things. There's a couple different rendering engines. There's Cycles and Eevee. Cycles is interesting because you can get, it seems like a higher quality render. And yeah, I bet you I can't select this right now because I'm using the GPU to render right now. But anyway, you can do all kinds of different things. So like you can come in here and turn on bloom, which I don't know. Yeah, we're not going to see anything different, are we? But what we can do, we can actually assign this to a material, or assign a material to this, and that will let us determine color and different things. So it's already got a material here, and so I'm going to go ahead and set the color. We're going to just like darken this a little bit, and I'm going to turn this mode on called Look Dev, so I can kind of, actually we'll just turn on the final render. And now you can see, I'm not an expert at this. And so now if you want it to look like metal, you can turn this up. Tell me that doesn't look more like metal right there. Now you can do that. Let's see here. So we can change the roughness. This determines, if I remember right, how shiny it is. So let's say somewhere in the middle. Let's say right here. Let's render that and see how different that looks, just because we've applied a material. Just because we applied a material, it looks different. And I'm aware I'm in a different spot now. I moved, but because I wanted to be directly in front of the monitor, I dragged Blender to. But anyway, so it's pretty cool. You can zoom in and out of them with this window with your mouse, your mouse wheel. And Blender, really, you need to be using a mouse. So there's these different screens here. You can come over to the texturing area and the shading, and there's different things you can do. So like, for example, down here, this is getting into video production stuff, but this is it's open source related, and so It's pretty cool stuff too, if you ask me. But we can take a look here. There's all kinds of different things that we can do. Like I said, this is actually a reflection of the materials over here, but we can add different nodes. So like, for example, we could go in here and add a bevel. And I honestly don't remember how to do this, so I guess we'll just try it. Yeah, that looks like that it's done something. I'm unclear. Is that okay? Did it do anything? Yeah, okay, it did. It did like this blue red thing, which I actually kind of like the look of. I'm not really sure. This is the thing. I'm not always. I don't always know why something worked a certain way in Blender because I'm not an expert at this. But it's very interesting. And so we can do different things here around it. We can change the background color, so defaults to gray, but we can make this solid black. And now if I render again, I keep closing the window because I'm so used to doing that. But yeah, so now we can take a look at this and you can see that right here we are talking pretty cool stuff right here with the render. Now, there's just different settings that we can adjust, and again, this does try to preview it in pretty near real time. And some of these settings do more than others. Like, for example, I can do subsurface, and then I can turn the subsurface up. And it doesn't look like on this particular object that we're getting much yet. Yeah, I'm unclear on what I may be doing something wrong here. Yeah, I'm unclear on that. Interesting. I'm not really clear on that, but you can do some interesting things. So, like, for example, you can do shade smooth or shade flat and do that. Another thing you can do that's really cool is, hold on, we can come in here, we can do text, and we'll go top view. And all right, so we'll go to the text, and we can do some interesting things with the text. All right, we're going to do center. All right, and then I'll go ahead and go into edit mode here by using tab, and then I can say, hello, Linux users. Okay, and then once I do that, what I'm going to do is we'll go back to object mode. I'm going to zoom in, and you can see right now this text is flat. Now, I didn't want it to be flat, so how can I change that? There's a couple ways to do it. You can do extrude, and this right here, when you extrude, will allow you to make this not flat looking. See, now it's got 3D space. And so we can go ahead and do that. We can do some interesting things here. So, like, for example, hold on a minute. Let me get everything situated here. Right, let's see. So I think probably best to do this in edit mode. I think that's the correct way to do it anyway. And let me see here. We're going to go in here and select the text. And all right, good. It looks like, oh, I bet we'll have to convert it to a mesh. See, I am not an expert at this at all, so we'll do convert to mesh. The negative is once you do that, you can't actually change it. And now you can see we've got the actual lines and everything here. And so we can do some interesting things. So, like, for example, let's say I wanted to do something particular to the eye character. Right, let's say we wanted to do that. What we would do is, hold on. Let's say what we wanted to do. I'm going to actually probably just use tilde and go to top view. Yeah, there, it's better. I can now, can I do, there we go. And so I can go ahead and do subdivide. I can subdivide any of this, by the way. This will make it more smooth. I'm not going to do that, but that's what it would do. But we've got things like extrude region. So I can do that, right? There's these different things you can do. Like I said, still learning, very much not an expert here. But very interesting nonetheless. And I'm aware that this sounds horrible for the podcast version of this. I probably just want to upload this as a podcast, honestly. But you can do different things. Like, for example, here, where is, hold on. They have a, Okay, hold on a minute. Let me find it. The knife tool. So I can cut stuff with this tool. And so now I'm cutting this into pieces. Okay. And where, I don't know where the original is. I think it's just going to let me loop over. I don't know. We can do a cut like this. Okay. Well, can we? Yeah, I'm not really too experienced with this tool. Anyway, but yeah, you can do some interesting things with this. And also, you can always view your renders over here in the render tab, which I think for this particular demonstration makes more sense. Even though this is still going to open up, apparently. I didn't realize it would still do that. Interesting. So I wonder if I put this on my other monitor, if it would at least stay. Yeah, okay. So if I do that, it will at least stay over there. So that's interesting. You can do some interesting things with Blender for sure. Like, for example, we can animate things. So, like, for example, let's say we wanted to animate the text. So I'm going to actually zoom in, and we're going to just tilt a little bit to the side. All right, and so let's take Control-Alt-0 and center our camera. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, I am my keyboard, and I'm going to insert, I think it's location I need for this, for the camera. Or no, actually, I did that on the text. We're going to do I, insert location. All right, good. And so now, Z, we're going to do Z. All right, so that's good. And so we're going to insert a keyframe there. And then I'm going to say, let's do 80 frames. Okay. Okay, good. And now we're going to come in here, and I'm going to go and do I, and okay. Now I've got my new keyframe, and so I'm going to just go ahead and lower down, and now, okay, it didn't take. Hold on. Why did it not take? What'd I do? Okay. Yeah, I normally don't do it with the keyboard shortcuts, but I was trying to show that I could remember them. So you know what? Let's not do it with the keyboard shortcuts. We will delete keyframe. I'll come over here, and we're going to go delete keyframes. So now I'm going to try this again, but I'm going to do it the way I normally do it. The way I normally do it is this. I will go in here, and let's say I want to do this with the Z. I'll right-click and do Insert Keyframes. Okay. Then I'll go over here to the end. In my case, I think I'll actually go 2 frames back. Right-click and hit Insert Keyframes. Now, actually, no, I'll have to insert keyframes afterwards, won't I? Yeah, because if I don't, I'll have to do replace. That's better. Okay, so there we go. Now it's working. And so see, now I can do a nice gradual animation into our text, which is pretty cool. And again, it would take a long time to render this, but because that, why not? I guess I can show what the rendering at least looks like. I don't think I'll go through the whole process, but you can see right there, it's actually rendering right now. And I guess I'll just let it do it in the background because it's doing it pretty fast. I'm using Eevee, which is a much faster rendering engine. And you know, it's generally considered, I guess you could say, lower quality, but it's a faster rendering engine. So I guess we will wait on that. We can kind of get a somewhat idea what it will look like as it goes through the frames here, right here, because this actually does go frame by frame here. It's actually pretty cool that it does this. So you can like sit here and watch it, you know, step through frame by frame, and I can get out of camera view, or I can go back into camera view. Get me to turn off the grid, and it's pretty cool. All right, there. I was switching perspectives. So see, that's camera perspective. This is user perspective, and then there's also orthographic perspective, which is a little different. It's kind of complicated to explain, so I probably won't go into that. But anyway, yeah. So this is interesting. So this is some of the cool things that you can do, everybody, with open source software. I'm just saying, if it's good enough for Pixar, it's good enough for you, is the way I see it. I mean, unless you have work or something that mandates that you use something a certain way. And in that case, then you know, I guess that's a different situation entirely. But otherwise, I would say, if in doubt, go ahead with that. And then tossing back to Linux here, we can see, this is the Linux version here, and of it and everything. But yeah, talking about Linux distros for a minute here. Gonna toss back to that. What is everybody's thoughts right now on what the best Linux distro is? Like, I've been thinking about this. For me, I think it's probably going to be, it's a toss-up. I feel like it might be either Linux Mint, which seems to be pretty nice depending on what you want, or maybe Ubuntu Mate, or maybe stock Ubuntu. Like, I feel like it's those three for me, competing it out. So I'm kind of trying to decide which one of those three make the most sense, and I'm unclear on which one that would be right now. But our animation is done rendering, so if I view the animation and we cut to it, hold on. Okay. Hold on a second, I gotta cut to it. Okay. So here's our animation in action. You can see it's playing. And you can see hello Linux users right there. So that's pretty cool. And again, that's all with open source software, my friends. So yeah, pretty cool stuff you can do with open source software indeed. But anyway, I don't know. Switch to Linux the other day, did a video about Fedora. Not my cup of tea. I don't really care much for Fedora. Again, there's nothing wrong with people that do like Fedora. But for me, it's just not my cup of tea. And so, my apologies in advance for it not being my cup of tea, but it's not. And so for me, because it's not my cup of tea, I don't really use it very much. I will use CentOS on servers and different things like that. There's some weather software I use that's designed specifically to run on CentOS and Red Hat here. Trying to move my chair here. Sorry about that, everybody. All right. Okay, that's better. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff with Blender, obviously. But yeah, talking about Linux, though, it's pretty cool stuff that you can do with it. And I have to say, it's pretty cool that you can do what we're able to do these days with Linux and open source software. It's very powerful, I will definitely say that. But anyway, if we toss back to my laptop, hold on a minute. Let me see if let me see here. Hold on just a second, everybody. Alrighty. Just waiting for my machine to finish here. Booting up GNOME boxes on my laptop here. Might go ahead and try looking at a VM I've got in here. I can't remember. I think there was BSD that I was looking at. Ghost BSD, I think it was. I think I put on here, so I could always try talking about that. I don't know why Box is taking so long. It normally doesn't take this long to load. I'm gonna just try restarting it because it shouldn't take this long. So we are waiting for GNOME boxes to finish booting up here. As you can see on your screen right now, GNOME box is hanging out, and hopefully will be booted up shortly. That'd be nice. Oh, there it goes, finally. All right, so let's give it a try. Let's go ahead and boot up Ghost BSD. I don't know how well this is going to work. It might even crash my laptop. I may not have enough system resources to run this and be capturing the screen over the network at the same time. We're going to try it, though. And so this is a graphical GUI install of BSD. It's based on FreeBSD. And so this is, I guess you could say, kind of like the equivalent of Ubuntu, but for BSD. It's designed to be easy to use and, boot up to a GUI immediately. And so it's going to be interesting to take a look at. I've messed around with this a little bit before, but not much. So we're waiting for it to boot up here, but I'm definitely going to be curious to see what happens. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see what happens, indeed. And so we're going to be waiting on that. Going to be waiting on that here. And It should. Wait. I think it's doing something. I think it's doing something, everybody. So there we go. Progress, everybody, right there. Yep, there we go. All right, we got it. Alrighty, so let's see if I can get this. There we go. Out of the way. And let me log in. So pretty cool. I'm definitely noticing dropped frames here a little bit every now and then in the VM. So don't judge this particular distribution too harshly because of that. But let's take a look here. You'll notice it's using the old Xorg mouse cursor. And I'm not clear on whether we can change that. Actually, let's go take a look in system. We're just waiting for everything to spin up here. Let's see, look and feel. So that makes me think we will be able to change it. Let's see, customize. Okay, pointer or WADA. Yep, we can. Okay, so there we go. So now we're using the WADA cursor. So that's going to be a little bit more at home. We can open up Firefox in here. I will say I do like the nice, beautiful background there. I don't remember if I changed that or if that was the default. But while we're waiting for Firefox to take a year to load in this VM, let's take a look here at our background options that the OS ships with. Always a cool idea to take a look at that kind of a thing. All right, let's take a look. Come on. And Firefox is now loaded. And I don't know why I opened it. But anyway, I guess just to prove it was there. But there's different backgrounds here. Oh, that's a beautiful one. Look at that. That's a great background. And very beautiful. Let's take a look. Let's see. We got this one. Very nice. Right. Pretty cool. I wonder if I can change the resolution here real quick because it's not it's filling a little bit too much of the screen up, and that more than it should be. So let's see, hardware displays. Here we go. And let me see. Can I change this 1280 by 720? Well, hold on. Okay, bear with me, everybody. I'm trying to get this all situated here. 1280 by 720. Apply system wide. All right, got to type in the password for the root user. Could not set the default config. Let's try just applying it to this monitor. That's fine. It worked, and now everything's filling the screen. This laptop screen is an old ThinkPad, so it's a little low resolution. So 720p will fit perfectly. So that's what we want. Let's see, they're shipping the Mate desktop, obviously, and this is the Mate terminal, so I can come in here. This is what your environment's like without, the only thing in here that I have set up in this particular was this right here. This was just a sample little GUI thing I threw in here to see, dealing with GTK. But everything else is stock. If we look at the desktop folder, it's empty, so it's a bare system pretty much, pretty simple. You can see there's not too many things installed. They do install Chartwell, LibreOffice Math, a couple of accessories. They do actually pre-install Plank as well. Interesting. But they do that, so you can import your photos with this application. Pretty cool. I will say I like the theming. The theming is pretty nice. And looks like they're shooting, they're submitting the Puma text editor, which is based on gedit, and pretty cool. This is based on the old version of gedit from what I'm aware. Pretty cool stuff. And so we can go, hello, everyone. How are you? Anyway. So we can go and do that. Pretty cool there. And yeah, so pretty nice environment. I could actually, BSD, I really have had some issues with, some of the things I need to be able to do are not possible in BSD. So I'm probably not going to be moving to this, but it's interesting to see that it feels very much like Linux. Sorry, I started to say like Windows, but it feels very much like Linux to me. We got Mate here, the GTK theming. Definitely does not feel that different. I have definitely played around with BSD before, and there is differences. I mean, for one, if we open this up, look where our folder for home is. It's /usr/home, and so that's a totally different place than in a Linux system. And you can see I'm the only user on this system. I wonder if you can register LDAP with this system. Let's see what kernel it's on. Okay, so this is 12.1. Of the BSD kernel, or the FreeBSD kernel. Or no, I guess that would be just the FreeBSD release it's based on. I thought 12.1 was kind of old, though. Maybe not. Someone let me know if I'm wrong in the chat there. Comes with transmission, so you can download Linux and BSD ISOs and stuff. Got Thunderbird here for your checking your mail. Of course, we already talked about some of this other stuff here, like Firefox, LibreOffice Draw. So it seems like that it's a pretty basic install, but now I did see a thing in here for installing software, the software station. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to enter my password, and now I can install some software using their little GUI software installer. I'm curious to see exactly how this is going to work. So we're just waiting for it to sync up. This will probably take a few minutes, but curious to see how this will actually sync up. And what you can actually do with it. What's going to be in the repos. I think it'll be interesting to see. I'm curious, for example, if OBS Studio and Simple Screen Recorder, both applications I use, are in there. So I wonder if I could do an install like a regular FreeBSD system from a terminal. I would assume you can do that. So let's do, I can't remember. Do I need to do sudo? Or would I need to switch into root? I think this is where I'd have to switch into root. Yep, that's right. Okay. So I'm switched into root, and now on regular BSD, you can do pkg install. So let's try OBS-Studio. I'm assuming that's what they would call it. And yeah, it looks like that, let's see. Okay, installed package to be upgraded. So it looks like that it's saying I can upgrade this package, and I don't know if I have to do that before I can check for OBS, or if it's just saying it doesn't have it. Because it didn't tell me anything here. It didn't tell me anything here about whether OBS was available in the repos or not. So we are waiting, everybody, here while OBS, or not OBS, but while Linux, not Linux, excuse me, FreeBSD, under the hood here, their package manager installs their update to their package manager. Kind of meta, ain't it? And then I'm going to see if it will be possible to install. Yeah, okay, looks like it did. Okay, so it made me update the installer first, but it looks like I can get OBS Studio to work. Awesome. Let's go ahead and just try installing it then. I don't think it would actually even open in a VM, though. I have a feeling it would not. I wonder something else, too. I wonder about the Olive video editor. Let's go take a look in Firefox here. If we can find, while we're waiting on this, the open source video editor Olive for FreeBSD. I'm curious on whether or not that we will be able to find it. So let's take a look. So, and see if we can find it here. Yeah, this VM is going to run really slowly when it comes to web browsing, I think. Probably should have done this on the host Linux system. But if that's the case, yeah, let's see. No, I put an extra M. Okay. Yeah, because Firefox is making it use enough resources. It's kind of lagging a little bit. I don't know. I'm debating on whether that I should search. Okay, there it goes. I was going to say I was debating on whether that I should search for it on Firefox or something in the actual host OS. But it's working. All right, so let's go to downloads and let's take a look. So it looks like that they probably do not have a BSD release. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. Interesting. I wonder if FreeBSD. Let's just take a look because I'm curious if this is available. Okay, it looks like that it's in fresh ports. Okay, so can I install this? Because I would like to try this under BSD considering I use this. Okay. I think you have to do something to add free ports. I'm a little unclear on that. I don't remember for sure. Let's see. Dependencies. Yeah, see, this doesn't actually tell me here. It does not tell me. Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay. Let's see. So it looks like, yeah, this is in the repos. Okay, so this is something I can install directly. Let's try that. Alrighty, let's give this a try. And we got to wait for this to finish. Okay. It just finished, but it's yelling at me, so I don't think it actually successfully installed anyway. It was yelling something about jack audio, which, to be fair, I don't think you need that for OBS. We try opening OBS. Let's see what it does. Now we're installing Olive in the background. Oh, interesting. It looks like it's going to actually open. All right, that's cool. I was not expecting that to work. And looks like they've shipped version 25. So this actually does seem pretty similar to the actual original release. Interesting. That's actually pretty interesting. So it looks like... Uh-oh, I don't know how to close this. Can I just... Okay, that works. But yeah, it looks like I can actually do some interesting things here. Let's just try adding a capture. I don't know how well this is going to work. But let's just try it. All right, and it looks like it's working. Interesting. So that does work on BSD. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. And so now we got Olive installing. So that's pretty cool. All right. So hey, I've got some chat messages here. Josh says, "Hello, Vincent. What distribution of Linux is this? Will Carmen be joining you soon?" Carmen will not be joining me, to my knowledge. He's welcome to, but I'm assuming that he's not going to. Tried calling him earlier today, and I couldn't get him on the line, so I'm assuming he's probably busy right now. Anyway, what Linux distribution is this? This actually is not a Linux distribution. This is BSD. And BSD is another version of basically BSD is another open source operating system. So basically that's what it is. And so the whole idea here with FreeBSD, and in this case this is called Ghost BSD, a Pacific version of BSD, is this particular application, or OS, I should say, allows you to have a similar experience to Linux, but in a BSD environment. Depending on your use case, that might be important to you. I don't know. Anyway, we got Olive here, so let's open that up. And this is what I edit my videos in these days. And nice, interesting. So it looks like they're shipping the same version that they're shipping on Linux. So it looks like everybody's on the same schedule in that sense. I'm curious how well this works. So let's actually go open up OBS Studio. Let's hit record. We'll close Firefox real quick here. And let's go ahead and I'm going to go in here to settings and configure the recording real quick. Output, and we will do, it's all I've got is software. I have a feeling this is not going to be handled very well, so we're going to have to see. Let's try putting this in videos, and we're going to say choose, and I'm going to say okay. Okay. Unspecified error occurred while recording, so we may not be able to do this. I may have to bring in some footage some other way here for testing. Okay. let's try MP4, and let's see if we can get that to record. Uh-oh. Okay, I may have spoke too soon on OBS working in this VM, which it normally, I don't expect it to. It looks like it's open, but it doesn't, and it will show this, but it doesn't seem like it wants to record. Oh, now it's recording. Oh, well, wait, never mind. Okay, well, we don't have that, but let's just see, let's do some, I'll create a new sequence. All right, we're going to say okay on that, and now I've got a sequence. And now, let's see here, we're going to do... we'll do the bars. So this is the tone color bars. I'm going to come in here. Let's add the tone. All right, that's good. And here, I'll turn the audio on because I think we've got audio coming through the system. Did we? Okay, no, we don't. I thought I had audio routing, but I do not. So anyway, but that's defaults to 1 kilohertz tone, I believe it is. Yeah, 1 kilohertz. And yeah, there you go. We can set the volume of it and everything. And over here's the tone and bars config. There's a couple different options. We can do checkerboard here instead. Right, so that's what that looks like. We can do a solid color and then pick a color. And we can do the empty bars. All right, so interesting. We can do some text. So if I do, a title. We can do a title right here. And let's take a look. So if I come in here and I do a title, we'll say, hello world. All right, and I'm going to change this to 68 so we can actually see it a little bit better. And I'm going to change this to bold. I'm going to hit OK. And there's our text right there. Now, another thing I can do is I can do a fade up. So let's go over here, cross dissolve. Okay, and let's do okay, so we're going to do a fade both ways. Okay. So now, see how it handles it. It's definitely not handling it too well in the VM. This doesn't surprise me. Olive works way better, when it's not in a VM. But hey, it was good enough we could kind of get the idea. So this is pretty cool. It looks like, let's see if the full screen works. Okay. If I do playback, yep, it does. Awesome. So it looks like that for all intents and purposes, Olive works exactly the same without issue under Ghost BSD. So that right there, I think would probably work for you. So that's cool. I'm actually surprised by that. Was not expecting to be that flawless. I wasn't even sure it was going to be on Ghost BSD. So that's pretty cool. Again, that it's got that there. One other thing I do wonder about is, can I get Simple Screen Recorder on here? Just out of curiosity, and try out some screen recording. So let's take a look at that, and I will see if that's possible. So Simple Screen Recorder FreeBSD. Let's see here, because that's what this is based on, is FreeBSD. Looks like, yeah, they do have it. So let's take a look here. All right, we're going to run this command in a terminal. I tried getting their GUI installer to work, but I don't know if it crashed on me or what, but it said it was updating and then it just disappeared. So I'm more used to installing things on BSD based derivatives when it's from the command line. Anyway, especially if it's FreeBSD. And so I think this will be fine for me anyway. All right, let's see here. Okay, great. So the install is done. All right, great. So can I now go into here and do, yep, here it is, Simple Screen Recorder. And unlike the other applications, its logo actually shows up. So that's nice. The other applications I installed, I should say. Okay, so I can record, we'll record this screen. We will disable audio. I wonder if it has Pulse in there. It does. And does it connect to Pulse? Okay, so it looks like Pulse is not set up. All right, so we'll record the cursor. We'll go ahead and leave the default file. We can start the preview. Good. I'm going to hit start recording. And then I'm going to just type some different things. We can go ahead and take a look. We have an X initiation file in here. Okay, and all that does is run Mate session. Okay. So that's just running Mate. What about the .login file? Let's see what's in that. Okay, so this is handling login, and it looks like they might be using CSH for their shell anyway. Is this bash? Hold on, because like this is okay. Interesting. This looks like bash to me. Trying to think here. Something we can test to make sure it's bash. I guess we could try this. I think this, I don't know, this might work in something else too though. Echo. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I'm pretty sure that that's the case. Let's go take a look at usr/bin. And it's yelling at me, telling me there's updates available now. Okay. Maybe the, okay, so that's your different applications that are in there. Linux is interesting in BSD in the sense that they do a lot of things similar because they're both Unix style OSs. BSD technically, FreeBSD technically was a real Unix back in the day that eventually became completely rewritten from the ground up. But it's literally it acts, from what I understand, the same way as the actual Unix code base. So that's pretty cool. You can do that, and also do not touch your face like that with COVID. I keep doing it. Sorry, I don't pay attention to my behavior. It's a bad idea. Anyway, but yeah, this is the update manager. This is a different thing, and obviously this has got a lot of updates. So there you go. Let's try installing updates. See how this goes. So interesting. It did not prompt me for a password. Interesting. It does say it's running a super user though, so it's doing that. I must have been prompted earlier. This must have been like the software thing where it was prompted me earlier, and it was running in the background, and so it's probably just running under that. But interesting. So we can come back here to Simple Screen Recorder. I can hit stop recording now because we've been recording for a good minute or two, and I'll exit this. And now let's see if we can get VLC to play something for us. They're shipping the standard Mate file manager here. And so someone that has used Mate, this I'm pretty familiar with this. And let's take a look. We got VLC here. VLC is loading. And we full screen that. Yeah, there we go. It looks like that it's playing back and actually pretty smooth to be in a VM. And so there you go. And what resolution did it capture? Because I just let it capture at the resolution. Okay, 1280 by 720. Because that's what I got the VM resolution set at. So that's cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, everybody. So there you go. Pretty cool. Pretty cool environment. Do I see myself using this? Honestly, no. Like, I'm being honest here. I do not see myself using this. Is there anything wrong with it per se? No. But I do not see myself using this as I'm too invested in Linux these days to be able to use something like this. But I think it's pretty cool that it's out there. And so, yeah, pretty cool stuff, everybody. But we're going to probably end the show here in a minute. Looking at the chat one last time, do not see any additional questions right now. So it looks like that we are in the clear on that. Let me just refresh the chat to make sure. I definitely would like to make sure we don't miss anybody's statements. All right. Nope. Looks like there's nothing else. So anyway, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Again, the first part of this wasn't even live because I was sending it to YouTube. I was encoding it and sending it to YouTube, but I forgot to press the go live button for like the first 25, 30 minutes of the stream. So I was only going to do this for an hour, but I went for an hour and 31 minutes now because I wanted to get a decent amount of time for the live viewers. The recorded version of this, I'll probably post it at some point on the OST channel just because why not? So I did record this at full HD, but it was streamed at 720. So the uploaded version will be the full quality. So yeah, anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. And just a reminder again, no regular OST episode coming out today. This is all you're getting. So hope you enjoyed it. And also shout out to Mr. Joe Collins for giving me the idea to do this live stream. And until next time, thanks for watching Open Source Tonight.